Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Happy weekend. Hope you're enjoying your MLK weekend. So the topic of discussion for today is going to be something that is very near and dear to my heart, as most topics that I will discuss are. So this is about having platonic relationships. When you are a female or a male and you have solid relationships with the opposite sex, right? And the opposite sex may or may not have a significant other, right? So how do you navigate that? Um, that's one part of what I want to discuss, and then I want to discuss how do you navigate when you are like a friend of two other people who are having dealings. What is your role in that when they're seeing each other, but both of them are your friends? And they may not be necessarily in a relationship with a title, but they have real feelings for each other and they've been dealing with each other. And should you ever find yourself in the middle of that, or how do you navigate that? So basically, it's a two-part conversation that I want to have. So the first one, with regards to how you navigate, how do you handle the situation when you are friends with someone who has an old lady? So I'm gonna take it from a woman's perspective because, after all, that's kind of all I can speak on in some situations because that's what I am, a woman. So having been the type of person that in my youth I was a lot of times the only female in the room, right? Just because I particularly liked male company more than I enjoyed being around a lot of females, right? A lot of females that was never my bag, right? So I was comfortable in a setting where it was all guys and I'm the only girl, or maybe just me and my homegirls. I'm comfortable in that situation. I found a lot of comfort as well as safety, to be honest, and nurturing actually in that setting. Because a lot of times when you're the only girl, they gonna make sure you good. They paying for stuff. They looking out for you. You little sis. They gonna make sure that you good, right? So that was my bag right there, and depending on the kind of guys that you're hanging out with, they become like brothers. So like I said, they make sure that you're good. They're going to make sure that you are out of harm's way. Y'all go to the club, they're going to make sure you're good. They're going to make sure you're all right. And like I said, depending on the guys that you hang out with, if they're the type of guys that they're not really trying to get into nothing, they just like hanging, and they just want to enjoy themselves and make it home that night, right? So they made sure you did the same thing. So like I said, I enjoyed that, and if the people who do know me, they know that, two of my very best friends, they're deceased now, but they were guys. And a lot of times, growing up, it's like when you saw one, you saw the other, that was just the nature of it, and like I say, those relationships were very, very important to me, and I love, love, love those guys. And I will always, forever, I will always speak highly of a platonic relationship because it's so much weight in that. Just being able to have a person of the opposite sex that you can go to and speak to about anything, and just treat you in a way like you really are their blood when you're not, but they treat you as such. It's so much weight, so much power in that. And I genuinely enjoy my relationships with those guys. Like, they will forever be etched in my heart. And so I never really had any issues with my one friend, because he passed when we were young. I was 20, he was 21. So we hadn't really got into like the heavy dating stuff then, where I would actually ever have to worry about um, how his significant other would have felt about me or anything like that. But however, with my older guy friend, I was in at times when, he would have a young lady that he was dealing with and she may not like me. That was very, very few and far between, because one thing about me, I'm going to respect the situation. I understand my place, right? So me and you not having sex. So I can't give you what the girl giving you who you're having sex with, right? So I know my place, right? And it's never a competition for me. It's never a competition when it comes to that, because the relationship and the bond that me and them have as play sisters, play brothers, is different than what he has with his old lady or his significant other, right? She can't compete with me and I can't compete with her, and it's no competition anyways, right? It's like comparing apples and oranges, right? Those are two different dynamics, right? So like I said, there were times, even though they were like few and far between, when, it may have been a female who she didn't like me for whatever reason. He made it known to me she don't like you or whatever, and she hate when she called me and I'm around you or whatever. Did that change anything? No, didn't change anything. I understood that, hey, she doesn't like me because I spend more time with her old man than she does. Understood. Nevertheless, like I said, it didn't change anything. But I always respected the situation. I think that whenever you are in a situation that, your platonic friend has a significant other, if it's at all possible for y'all to meet or for y'all to have your own relationship, I think that can be a plus, because it can be something where it's like a sisterhood, it could be a plus. However, there are times when your friend has chosen to deal with someone that you do not get along with. You don't care to be friends with that person, right? You do not even think that that's a good look for your friend, right? What do you do during those situations? Well, let time play out. That would be my answer. Time tells everything, right? You can voice your opinion. You can say, hey, I don't think that's a good look. You can say that. You're entitled to your opinion, whatever it may be, right? But the best thing you could do in a situation like that is to just let time play out. Because let me tell you something. Whatever your estimated guess is, time is going to tell if you were right or if you were wrong, right? If you feel like, hey, that's a good person for you, time is going to tell whether or not that person is good for them. If you say, hey, bro, if that's what you want to do, but I don't think that's a good look, guess what? Time is going to tell that as well. And I have seen that to be true. Time is going to tell, right? So the best thing you can do is kind of like let people make their own decisions and let life play out how it's going to play out. Now, if they come to you seeking advice or something like that, then you always obligated to give your wholehearted, transparent, thoughtful, and cautious truth, right? And I say cautious because a lot of times when you're talking about friends and you're talking to your friends about their loved ones, about their significant other, you do have to proceed with caution, because they have feelings for those people, and you can't be ignorant of that fact. So it just makes sense to proceed with caution and not just recklessly throw your opinion all over the place about them. Because sometimes they may be pure garbage, right? They may be no good for your friend, right? And you could say that if you want to, but then you run the risk of, either looking like you jealous or looking like, you just have a problem with that person. It's just a lot of ways that your friend could take that to be negative. And they can just totally tune out your opinion, even if it's based on some facts, right? Just because of your deliverance and just because of the anger or the disdain that comes with it. So that's why I say, you give that opinion or you give that response or that advice, you give it cautiously and caringly when possible, right? So that's that, that's that spiel for when you're dealing with someone who has a significant other. That can get so messy. That can get downright just real bad. And it can also get so bad that it affects your friendship, right? When you just totally don't get along with your friend's significant other. That has a lot of potential of ruining y'all friendship, just depending on how far, it goes. Because if y'all are bickering, you and the girl are bickering, two guys bickering, it can go far. It can cause a lot of damage. And eventually that friendship is going to take a hit because of the bickering that the other two people are doing, right? So it's my opinion that I feel like this. Hey, if this is my friend, no, let me say this. If this is my old man and then this is my friend, the last thing I want is for my old man or a guy that I'm dealing with and a dude that's like my brother to be at odds, right? That's the last thing I want. So whatever I can do to make sure that they are not back and forth, they are not biting each other's heads off, whatever role I can play to help facilitate a peaceful situation, that's what I would do, right? My man cannot make me call my brother and tell him nothing. I'm not going to give a guy that's not my husband that type of power over me. Oh, well, you better call him. No, I can have a conversation with him, but you're not going to be around when I do it. You're not going to be like bullying me to make me call my homeboy who is, I'm close with, or we have a good, rapport or a good relationship with. You're not going to make me force my hand to call him and tell him nothing that you want me to call and tell him. No, we ain't doing that at all because I'm grown at the end of the day. So the only thing you can do is ask me to, make something clear, or you can ask me to ask him not to do this or not to do that, but you're not gonna bully me and make me call this man ain't no. We ain't doing none of that. Ain't nowhere in the world I'm giving you that type of power over me. You're not bringing that much to my table for me to give you that type of power over me, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a good chance that I knew this man before I knew you, right? And it's a good chance that although you may love me, this person right here might really have a whole nother kind of love for me, right? Through the thick and the thin, right? Because we haven't been intimate, so our emotions are not that tied up, right? So this person just might be there for me a little more than you at the end of the day. Possibly. You could roll the dice on that, right? But because you can't call it sometime, I'm not going to let you as a significant other or my boyfriend or whatever title you want to have or not have, you're not going to force me or bully me into making my friend or my brother feel any kind of way because you're insecure. Because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day, their insecurities regarding the other person. You have to be able to see that. That's all it is. If that man or woman is not intentionally disrespecting that person, then it all stems from insecurity, right? So you have to be able to see that. So because you're insecure, I can't let your insecurities mess up my other relationships. I can't do it. I refuse to do it. Won't do it. Right? So I said that to say this. If you are dealing with a person who they have friends or sisters of the opposite sex, you would fare well to be at peace with them, right? You would fare well to be at peace with the person that they are friends with. You don't have to be friendly with them. You don't even have to be cordial. But for peace sakes, keep the problems down, especially if that person is not disrespecting you or coming at you or bothering you or doing anything to you. For the sake of your relationship, keep peace with that person that they love. And I'm going to even extend this out a little further because something just dropped in my mind about it's the same when you're dealing with a guy or you're dealing with a female and you don't get along with their family members. It behooves you. I repeat, it behooves you to be at peace with their family. Because at the end of the day, that's their family. Like, that's never going to change, right? And I understand that when you marry, you have to leave and cleave. I get that. But when you ain't married, you single, right? You could call them boyfriend, girlfriend. You could call them whatever you want. You could call them whatever you want to call them. But if you can't call them husband, then you single. You can't call them wife, you single, right? But it behooves you to have some type of peaceful relationship with their family. Because again, when you are disruptive to their other relationships, it's only going to be a problem for you in the long run. In the short run and in the long run, it's going to be a problem for your immediate relationship. I'm not saying you have to kiss anybody behind. I'm not saying you got to go butter up to their mamas and this and that. But let me tell you something. You know, it's something to that when them girls is buttering up their mamas. Listen, it's some wisdom to that, to be honest, right? Yeah, mamas will switch out on you. But you got some mamas who love you to the bus out. They could get married and they still want that girl for their boy, right? Yeah. So you got to take that and you got to make it do what it do, right? You don't have to do either extremes, right? You don't have to just butter up to the mama, but you definitely don't have to be calling, oh, your mammy this and your sister and tell them this. Listen, if you're doing either one of those extremes, reevaluate yourself. Yeah. And guys, if y'all, go get your brother and I tell your daddy, reevaluate. That person just may not be the person for you. If you have to have such disdain to their friends, to their family members, that person just may not be the person for you. And that just may be something that you need to wrap your mind around, right? So that's that for that, right? So now, to move to the other situation that I want to talk about. When you are a person who you have two friends who are having dealings with each other, right? Whether they are in a relationship, whether they just kicking it, whether they, just do their thing, whatever it is they call themselves. But you are friends to both of them, right? How you navigate that? Okay, so I've been there too. Been there, done that. The approach that I always took, like I said, I always was around a lot of guys, right? So anytime you're around a lot of guys, they want to talk to your friends, right? Cool. At the point where my friend, female friend, is talking to my guy friend. My guy friend is like my brother. My female friend, she's my ex-boon coon. At the point where they doing their thing, they dealing with each other, guess what? I'm out of that situation. I have nothing to do with it. I really prefer not to even have conversations about what y'all have going on. Now, if either one of y'all bring that to me, then I'm going to be the friend that I am and I will entertain it, right? But when it comes to certain things, like you bringing another female around when I know you and my homegirl really kicking it, and she have a certain level of love or respect for you, and then you just bringing another female around in my, can't do that. Not with me, you can't. Not and expect that when me and her have a conversation, and if she asks me about it, I ain't gonna say nothing. Don't expect that from me, right? How dare you expect that type of loyalty from me when you didn't care anything about my relationship with her, right? You didn't care when you brought that other female around, or you telling me about this, telling me about that. You don't care anything about the fact that this is my homegirl, that I care about her too. But then when I say something to her about it, then all of a sudden I'm the bad person, right? No, I'm not, because you should have had more sense than that. And a lot of times I find that guys, they definitely get caught sleeping when it comes to this, like bad, because I've seen guys who they good friends with the girl's sister who they date, and they feel like they so cool with the sister that they're gonna bring another female, and that's the girl blood sister. You'll bring another female around acting like this ain't this girl's sister. Why would you do that? That's silly. Now see, y'all guys, y'all play them kind of games, right? Y'all do that. Yeah, y'all will be dating a girl and be cool with with her brother, and y'all will go out and do y'all thing, and all y'all have different women. Y'all do that guy code type stuff, right? You're not gonna disrespect me in that kind of way. Like, keep it out my eyes and my ears, or do not be surprised when I tell my truth if she asks me. Don't be surprised, because you're not going to put me in a situation where she's looking at me sideways, like my loyalties are not to her. You understand me? My loyalties are to her. My loyalties are to you too. So you have to respect that. If you want my loyalties to continue to be to you, then you show me a certain level of respect, and don't put me in a situation to where my homegirl going to be looking at me sideways. No, I'm not going to let her look at me sideways, because she's going to get the whole 100 from me. She's going to get the truth from me if she asks me, right? Yeah. So it behooves you to not put a person in that situation where they have to lie to their friend, or they have to act like, oh no, girl, I ain't never seen him with her. Don't even put a person in that type of situation, because no, I ain't finna be telling no lies. Yeah, he mess with him. Yeah, he do. And guess what? Since you didn't care when you put me in that situation, I'm not going to care when I stand flat foot and tell her whatever it is she asked me about. Or if we just have a conversation and it comes up and comes out, I'm not going to care, because you should have never put me in that situation. And I stand on that. Because there's nowhere in the world that I would bring somebody around knowing that we have a friend in common, and here I come with another dude, and I'm gonna just act like you ain't friends with the other dude. And I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna put you in I'm not gonna put my friend in that type of situation where they got to keep their lips closed, or they got to hope, or they looking at me crazy like, dang, like, why would you do that? Like, I can't unsee that. I can't unhear that. So now I'm in a situation where I'm looking like, the person who keep all these secrets, and nah, we ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do that. In 2023, we moving like we supposed to. We respecting all situations and relationships. If that's her homegirl, or if that's her sister, or whatever she is, and she knows what type of situation you have going on with her friend or whatever, don't make her privy to the other side stuff that you're doing. Keep her out of that. And that's that on that. Yeah. That's what we're doing. Keep her out of that. But anyway, so like I said, all things relational, all things relationship based, all things friends based. That's what we're going to be talking about on this podcast. So yeah, the official title is the B word. We know that sometimes the B word has a negative connotation, but in my case, B is the initial that I go by. The word is for the connotations words for the conversations that we're going to be having on this podcast. So the B word experience, because it's definitely going to be an experience. Right now it's just me, but I am going to start with like interviews and just bringing other people opinion into the conversation, into the situation. So I'm looking forward to the interviews that are coming and the conversations, because like I said before that I just feel like me and my friends, we have some good conversations, some solid, crazy, funny, entertaining conversations, and I would just like you all to be privy to that and give you all the opportunity to just hear something different, hear some of the same stuff. I mean, we're women and men. We have the same things going on in life, and I just think that it's always a good. It's always good to get another opinion or to see a different perspective on something. I think it makes you, it widens your thinking, your perspective. It gives you a much broader perspective on things when you hear how other people view that. So that's that. Y'all have a safe weekend, and let me know in the comments what you think.